Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 1978 cult classic film Grease. So this is based on the 1971 Broadway musical of the same name. Additional songs were added. That became such a smash hit. There was a sequel, Grease 2. Then there was various iterations on Broadway throughout the many decades. Then there was the live production, I think Fox did couple years back. I think Vanessa Hudgens plays Rizzo. I think something like that. So Grease is the word. It's been around forever, right? 45 years to be precise. In regards to the movie, this movie, the 1978 movie, my family and I watched it for Mother's Day as a Fathom event. They do like anniversary showings of certain films, and we all thought it'd be a great idea to see it because we've never seen it in the theater. For some reason, my parents didn't see it back in '78 when it was in the theaters. Reasons unknown. I've always liked Grease. I have not loved Grease. It's very similar to High School Musical. Like, you could see so much influence from High School Musical to from Grease. But my biggest problem with there's problems with this movie. My biggest problem is the ending, because why would Sandy Sandra D, right? Why would she change her entire personality to make Danny like her at the very end, right? But throughout the entire film, it's the two of them trying to try other stuff to change a little bit to make sure the other person's happy with who they are, but like change to better yourself, not because somebody else wants you to change. I've always had a problem with that. But then watching it now in 2023 versus when it came out back in 78, this film was made it came out in 78, and it's based on the 1950s. So there's this group of kids that go to Rydell High School, and they're all played by 30-year-olds. And a lot of people forget that this was an old cast. They were in their very late 20s and early 30s when this was filmed, and a lot of people give a lot of older actors hell for being a teenager, but that's how it's always been. They've always casted old people, quote unquote, in regard someone in their 30s playing, a younger high school kid. It's just how it's been. It's changing, but it's just what it is. So that complaint of it, but there's just so much homophobia in it. There's this at the bonfire scene. I never noticed it. I don't actively watch this film. It's strange watching it now with the culture that we're all part of. The bonfire scene, there's this literal hangman setup of a dummy on fire of the rival team with a noose around its neck. And I was like, oh, I forgot all about that. That is not a thing. We could never do that now. That's not a thing. Little things, just the sexual harassment throughout the entire thing. Has not aged well. On a different front, the music is incredible. The costuming is magnificent. The cinematography, the choreography is stunning. Certain lines from this are very affluent in pop culture still, and I didn't realize this. Certain lines, certain one-ups, quips that people say in the characters that say in this film, and that in this 1978 film, people still utilize within certain dialogue within TV or film or shows for that matter. I've seen so many stage productions of Grease. Like, it's a fun show. It's a very fun show, but I don't like the let me change myself to make you happy kind of a thing. I never understood that. If I'm going to change myself, it's to make me happy, not to make you happy, to make me happy. So I never liked Grease for that part of it, but the rest of it is what I explained. That is neat. Things that I noticed though now that I don't understand in regards to the 50s aesthetic is a lot of the certain like background characters had like 70s clothes, but it was supposed to be 50s, or like the whole dance off scene, right? That the TV station comes to the show, comes to the high school to do the live televised show, and the bandstand show. But like John Travolta's character of Danny Zuko has his collar popped out, and it's this long pointed collar. It's very 70s, but this is supposed to take place in the 50s. So why is his collar popped out? and long and pointy. It should be neater and in the jacket. That's what the 50s were. 70s then brought it out within that disco era. So little things. I'm nitpicking, but overall, it was a fun experience to watch with my family on Mother's Day. Very memorable experience, very memorable day all around. It was also neat to see a thing that I noticed a lot. Kenny Ortega was heavily influenced for High School Musical within this film itself, the 78 film, because there's a scene in High School Musical 2 at the very beginning where the kids are all singing Summer, right? It's summertime. So they do this like hands on everyone's shoulders, and they do this like whirl of like a roller coaster kind of thing by going like that. And in this, and the camera pans through as the kids do that. So as in this film, the 1978 Grease film, all the kids are doing at some kind of end of school like handshake or something like that, where they go like this and then drag the hands across in the hallway, and the camera pans through, and I was like, oh, that's a High School Musical thing. And then realizing it, High School Musical 2 is technically doing a Grease thing. So it's neat seeing where a lot of pop culture reference comes from in its origin. Definitely have not seen this film in at least 2 decades, minimum 2 decades. I like the drag racing scene. I thought that was neat. It was very Fast and Furious in regards to, I've seen Fast and Furious way more times than I've ever seen Grease. But it's neat seeing where things come from. On a whole, the parts that did not hold up well 45 years later are going to be torn to shreds in the next 45 years. But yeah, it was an experience. It was a moment. I ate tons of popcorn. I drank my blue raspberry slushy. We had a good old time. Grease is the word. On to the next review. Mahalo.